Welcome, my good friends, to another episode of the Bosses of Earthbound. I am your host, Ben Sleva, and I have a great show in store for you this week. Last time we met, we did a bit of backtracking and end up in Winters again, where we visited a cave near Stonehenge. There we bullied a giant mushroom and learned more about the memories deep in our mind. This week we're going to scout another sanctuary spot by backtracking yet again, but not before completing a couple of out-of-the-ordinary tasks. Buckle in while we walk our way through the world and head towards the rodent that won't hit the road, the pest that's far from the best, and the bottom feeder that'll end up a retreater. I'm talking about a baddie with a heck of a title, the Plague Rat of Doom. When we were done fighting Shroom, we were still in Winters, so head south and back to Dr. Andonis' lab and talk to Daddy one more time. He'll let you know that the Skyrunner is good to go and it'll take you to Summers. He's not lying. Heal with your robot buddy and climb inside the Skyhopper. After a shorter than last time trip through the sky, you'll arrive in Summers, where you'll crash land and never get to use the Skyrunner again. We have teleportation, so that's okay. There are some enemies in Summers, but do your best to avoid them. They're the Crazy Sign and Mad Taxi that we saw in Fourside, Mole Playing Rough that is rare, but is the same tiny enemy from a while back. Then you'll find the Overzealous Cop and the Tough Guy, which give a good amount of experience points, but still, in my opinion, are not worth fighting. Once you've shaken off the stress of the trip, go ahead and explore the town. Everything there is overpriced, so don't sweat not buying anything. From left to right, you'll find the hotel. From here on in, if you need a hotel and you're not in a tight location, teleport to Onet. It's the cheapest, and you'll land right outside of it. Next, there is a restaurant, which of course is pricey, but fun to look through and talk to the NPCs. Next is the shop. No need to stop here, it's overpriced. Next is the Stoic Club, which you'll come back to in a couple minutes. For now, you have no way of getting in. And your last two buildings are the museum and the hospital. The hospital is self-explanatory, and the museum is a good walk around to talk to the NPCs and get a feel of some plot points to come. But when you're done visiting the hoity-toity part of town, continue to the next section in the east. There you will find boats in the harbor and a bunch of smaller homes. This is called Toto. Feel free to walk around in all the houses and talk to the NPCs inside. One person, I like to refer to as the Rastafarian man, will give you the phone number to the Stoic Club. It's very important. Finally, when you exit the shop, Tony, Jeff's old friend, will call you and ask for your name. Yes, you, the player. Give it to him and then hang up after he awkwardly talks to you. From there, head to the Toto shop and make a reservation at the Stoic Club. Then go to the club. Once inside, talk to everyone. They are quite entertaining. Now, this entire city just keeps making fun of rich people, and I love it. You're pointed to the woman at the door, and when you talk to her, she says you can meet her outside. How about that? And she will sell you some magic cake. Right near the beach outside, you'll find her and her buggy. Talk to her and she'll give you a slice of magic cake, and you'll trip balls. Good old kids game, huh? During your time of enlightenment, you'll have visions about a boy in a far-off land. This is the fourth and final member of your team, Pooh. Now, different from your journey to Paula, where you fought lots and lots of monsters, and when you were Jeff and you had to travel far distances and fight lots and lots of monsters, Pooh's home of Dalam is more peaceful, and you won't have to fight a single enemy. You will have to give up your limbs, sense of mind, and other things, but we'll get to that in a minute. After you wake up as Pooh on his throne, you'll leave the palace and venture towards town. Grab the presents in people's houses and talk to any NPCs. You'll discover that you are about to finish your Moo training, and that's a good thing. At the end of the line, at the edge of town, you're greeted by a trainer who will briefly talk to you and then fly away. Climb up the ropes all the way to the tippy top of the tower. A person will appear and tell you to go back to the palace because it's not time for training. Ignore them. Then, a creepy ghost head will float down from the sky. This next bit of dialogue gets quite heavy and will test every bit of your will. Your job as a player is to make sure that you always say that you will never give up. They'll take your arms, your legs, your ears, your eyes, and eventually your mind, and all the way along, just say that everything's fine, and before you know it, you'll have completed your training. I may have just quickly dusted over that, but just the implication of what's happening is enough to make an entire video about it. So, as you play through it, take the time to enjoy what's going on. Once the training is done, head all the way back to the palace and talk to your father. He'll teach you a few useful tricks, including teleportation, alpha, and beta, and then send you on your way. You'll arrive on the beaches of Summers and join the team. The prophecy has come together. Now, for the good chunk of the sanctuary spots, you can do them in any order, and this one is no different. You can choose to go to Scaraba. I think I would call it Scaraba. You can choose to go to Scaraba first if you want, but I suggest heading back to Fourside because Pooh's level will give you some problems with the heavy hitters in Scaraba. Head back to Fourside. Head inside the museum, pay your fee, and then head all the way to the west wall and talk to the curator. He'll tell you that he'll do anything for an autograph of the new biddy playing at the Toppola Theater. You happen to have an in with management at the theater, so head over for a not-so-quick show. After a performance that seems to last half an hour, head backstage and get your autograph from Venus, which happens to be on the peel of a banana. Take the banana peel to the curator of the museum, and you are now ready to enter the 5th Sanctuary Bosses dungeon, finally. This place is on my top 5 worst dungeons in the game. It's long, it's a weird linear maze, and all the enemies are tough and can give you some lasting ailments. You'll encounter the Deadly Mouse, which is a counterpart from the Titanic Ant Cave with a ruthless smash attack, Filthy Attack Roach, who is tough but can be beaten by a bunch of offensive PSI attacks, and the Stinky Ghost, whom is a pain in the butt because he will probably possess you with a tiny ghost, which will disrupt the entire rest of your sewer journey. I got a tiny ghost in the first battle, and he stayed with me the entire way. If you have to fight them, make sure you keep your party alive. Use PSI moves to keep their battles short. Like all dungeons, there is a butterfly room at the end, so you'll have plenty chance to get your BP back up. The trickiest part of this dungeon is getting the map right. If you have to backtrack, you'll end up in battles. And there are a few places you're able to despawn enemies, especially because you go so slowly. Take this path. Once down from the surface, head to the right into that room, grab the broken iron, which becomes a slime generator. You'll notice this game smartly puts only broken items in the sewer, so if you have the life force and the willpower, Jeff will end up with 3 more broken items he can fix later. Leave that room and back up to the little ladder to the left of the service ladder. No need to go into the room to the left. There's a croissant there and a garbage can in the sewers. Ew. So climb into the water and head to the east. Ignore the urge to go off the second ladder and backpedal the door. It's only a broken spray can, and you should have fixed one already. It becomes a defense spray. If you don't have it, get it now. If you'd avoided that door, then you will be in the water until the far, far end of the second full screen. Yeah, with me? Get out and double back halfway through the screen to the door. This is the butterfly room that you can get in and out multiple times to replenish your PP. Leave your butterfly palace and follow the dry path through the far right tunnel entrance and into the door by the 2 orange barrels. Despawn if you can and grab that last good item. It is a broken bazooka, which becomes the heavy bazooka at IQ level 45. To finish off the dungeon, plop back in the water and get to the last ladder in the series. Hopefully you won't find an enemy here. Now I kind of zipped through the dungeon, but you're more likely to find a slew of enemies, and it might take you a half hour plus to get through this. Anyway, let's start the battle. The Plague Rat of Doom is the guardian of your 5th Your Sanctuary location. This boss is not terribly difficult, though like other rat enemies in Earthbound, the Plague Rat of Doom's gut stat is maxed out to 250, which means it has a high frequency of smash, making it extremely likely to land critical hits, and its bites are occasionally poisonous. It is recommended that you use paralysis on it so that it can't attack in the first place. Use PSI Rockin', PSI Fire, and Bottle Rackets if you have them. Don't let your HP drop below 100, and make sure you keep your crew free of ailments that you can heal away. Now that you have 2 healers in your party, take advantage of keeping everyone happy and healthy. Let Ness bash and watch for major healing, have Paul use fire and freeze, have Jeff shoot rockets or bash, and then Pooh can feel free to heal or bash. Hopefully he's gained at least 5 levels since you've started the sewers. It may take a long time, but it's not horribly tricky of a battle. When defeated, the gang will finally visit Magnet Hill, as well as acquire the Carrot Key. Now, we will find out what the Carrot Key does next episode, when we will fight the 6th Sanctuary boss and 3rd one in a row. That Sanctuary has my favorite part of the Sound Zone recording, and our first glimpse at a truly otherworldly boss. We'll learn more about them later, but for now, I'll just leave you with a name: Thunder and Storm. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I appreciate every second you watch because it makes me feel like I'm making an impact in the Earthbound community. If you've enjoyed the video thus far, please consider subscribing. I am so close to 3,000 subscribers, and when I get there, I will do my fancy boy heel click. Check out some of these Earthbound videos, and like always, later days.